Hi, my name is G with Notions You Need, and we're coming to you from rural Pennsylvania, and we are under quarantine just like everybody else. So we're going to show you today how you can make straps quickly for the masks that you're making for people. I know that elastic is becoming a premium. People are out of it, and it's hard to get. So you may have to make ties for your masks. So first we're going to start with cutting strips for our ties, and I am going to use a strip ruler. And this strip ruler is great because I can adjust it from 1/2 inch all the way up to 6.5 inches, and I can cut strips and then squares if I need to, but it makes it fast and accurate each time. So for this particular project, we are going to set our guide, our fabric guide, at 1 3/4 inches to make the straps. So I'm going to move this down. See, I have lines going all the way down so I can be sure to be accurate all the way. So there's my 1 3/4 right there. This is a wing nut. You don't have to crank it down really tight or you'll crack your ruler. All you have to do is snug it down. And we're going to go ahead and adjust here and there. And snug that one down too. So we're ready to start cutting our strips. I'm going to adjust that just a little bit more. I'm a little off here. There we go. So I've squared up my fabric, and now all I have to do is take that orange guide and butt it right up against the edge of my fabric. I've got my fabric folded over, so I'm actually cutting 4 layers at the same time. There's a finger guard on here, so I will not cut my fingers off. And there is a piece of rough substance, I'll call it, on the back so it grips your fabric so there will not be any sliding of the ruler. So we're going to go ahead and open up our cutter, and we're going to go ahead and give it a cut. I'm going to do it a second one because my blade is a little dull and I don't have any more with me. So there we go. There's our first strap. Here's another one coming up right here. And again, we're just going to butt it up. We don't have to worry about measuring. It's going to be the same. There we go. And now we're going to take these over to, let's see, my blade is dull, but there we go. Now we're going to take these over to our ironing surface and we are going to fold them. And for this project, we've come up with a new tool, and it's called the Fast Fold. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically fold the fabric as we press it so that we can do this rather fast and we don't have to burn our fingers and we don't have to keep stopping to fold because we're going to do a double fold on this. So here we go. We're going to fold the 2 sides into the center like you would if you were making a strap for a purse or something. And just give it a little bit of a press here. Now, the unique thing about this new product, this Fast Fold right here, is that we have 2 areas to slide your fabric through, so we're going to get 2 folds out of it. We also have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This can be used as a point turner, and it also has the measurements on here for your quilt binding when you get ready to bind your quilt. So this has multiple purposes, but for right now we're just going to be using the folding portion of it. And what we're going to do is just give this a really good press right here. We're going to use this like a belt buckle, and we're going to come up through one side, down through the other. These are going to be available at notionsyouneed.com. And here, let me get this pin down here. We're using fork pins. You can use T-pins or any kind of pins, but these work really well because we're going to be putting tension on the fabric itself. These are made in the USA, right here in Pennsylvania. We're going to get this started, press this really good, and then all you have to do is as you push this down, it's folding the fabric. So your fingers are never going near the iron. You're not touching anything, burning yourself or burning the plastic. We're going to advance it here. and finish this off. Now you're going to be doing this on a longer ironing surface, so you probably aren't going to have to advance it as many times as I do, but for right now, our supplies are limited, and so what I have is a wool pressing mat. These mats are wonderful. If you don't have one, they really are great to put next to your sewing machine. And there we go again, and just get your point of your iron right in there and just push it along. We're going to finish this off. Okay, now we're going to do the second turn so you can see how that works. So we have another set of holes right here that is going to make, that are half the size of the first set of holes, and they're just a little bit wider for the extra thickness of fabric. So if you find that when you're doing second passes you're having a little bit of problem, this solves that problem. Again, we're going to do this like a belt buckle. Bring it up one side, down the other, feeds through nice and smooth and easy, and just attach it to our ironing surface. And then all I have to do is kind of get out of my own way. So just like that, get it started. Now, as we're pushing this, you see how easy that glides? You're going to keep going back and forth so you get a really nice crease in there and you get enough heat. But it's folding it perfectly as we go down. And we're going to finish that off. And then our strap is ready to take to the machine and sew onto our mask. We're going to take this to the machine now and we'll pick it up there. So now we're taking our project over to the machine and we're going to sew the straps on. First, I'm going to take the lid off of my machine so that I can have better access to my thread director, and I'm going to go ahead and set it up. First, make sure that your thread director is put on. I put it on my bobbin winder because I don't have a vertical spool pin, but if you have a vertical spool pin, go ahead and use it. The only machine that we don't want this to go on the bobbin winder is a Viking, because a Viking is a plastic bobbin winder and it can damage your machine, so we don't want that. So go ahead and put your thread on. It doesn't matter if the thread feeds under the spool or over the spool, it's going to still operate the same way, but you need the thread to be able to move freely or rotate freely. So here's our second spool right here. And we're going to thread both of these at the same time. There we go, moving freely. So I've gone ahead and I've threaded my needle. I'm using a twin needle. It's a Schmetz needle. The distance between the two needles is 4.0 and the size of the needle is a 90. Okay. When I went to thread the needles, my eyesight isn't great. So what I did is I put the case in back of the hole so I could actually see the hole as I'm threading it. So if you have problems seeing that, since this isn't just a single needle, that's a good trick. The other thing is be sure that you have your zigzag plate on there, because if you do not have a big enough opening for those needles to fit down in there, you're going to break them and you're not going to be happy. So you have to have a zigzag machine to do this. You do not have a straight stitch machine, it won't work. So I'm going to go ahead and put my foot back on now because it's much easier to thread those with the foot off. Gives you a little bit more room. And we're ready to go. Okay, I'm going to set my machine up for a straight stitch. And I'm going to set it at 3.0 because we're going through quite a few layers of fabric. And I'm just going to bring my mask over. And I'm going to start sewing my ties. Now the reason, again, why we're doing this is because elastic is getting really kind of hard to find. And if you have to make your own ties, this works really good and it goes very fast. So let me get my pedal here. Okay. I'm sewing both lines at the same time, so I'm not having to do two passes. I'm putting a little tension on the strap so that the material doesn't get drawn down into the machine, because that's a lot of pressure with two needles going through there. But see how fast this goes? You're going to be able to churn these masks out a lot faster with these tips that we're getting here. And I know that wherever these masks are going, these people are going to really appreciate it. So if you've got a little time on your hand and a lot of fabric in your stash that you aren't using, this is the best way to use it up to help other people. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use back stitch a few stitches there to lock it in. And we are done. There you go. This is what it looks like on the back. Nice and neat. And it's not going to go anywhere. So thank you very much for watching. And until next time, have a wonderful day.